I'm sorry, I don't have any footage from this actually happening. If the thumbnail is like a picture of something representing that, it's likely stock footage. The thing is, I wasn't recording at the time, but I just want to make a quick video telling this story because tourism is really popular in Mexico. I'm living here now, and what happened to me, from what I hear, is a really common problem, especially if you are a tourist and you're obviously not from here. Look at me, right? So hopefully you can learn something from this story to save yourself a bit of money from the future. So what did happen this day? So a couple days ago, I had a date in the Mexico City. Fun, right? So I went into the city to pick up the girl, got to her house, and when we got there, I only had one helmet, and we wanted to go to this taco stand about 10 minutes away because that's what you do for dates in Mexico. You go get tacos, I guess. So I gave her my helmet, you know, being the gentleman that I am, and we head off. We got probably really close to getting there, actually. And we were pulling off this avenue, and sure enough, the police waved me down. And I was like, oh, chinga su madre. Because I've heard a lot of stories about people getting scammed by the police, and I knew that was what was about to happen because that's the only reason why they pull you over here, right? Nobody actually pulls you over to arrest you or anything like that. I even know a guy who got pulled over for drunk driving, and he got like straight up drunk driving, like not even like buzzed. It's not like he blew barely over the limit or anything like that. Like this guy was straight up drunk, got away with paying off the cop for 200 pesos, right? So I knew this was gonna happen. The first cop comes over. It's a guy, but there were 4 cops, which is important for later. It's an important part of the story. Guy comes over, he's like, hey, I pulled you over because you're not wearing a helmet, and we're gonna have to impound your bike and write you a citation, blah, 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 you know, and I just started acting confused, right? I was like, yo, señor, yo no entiende, yo no habla español, you know, like trying to be all stupid and stuff. And eventually I was like, you know, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to wear my helmet, you know. And he was like, yeah, well, she does, talking about the girl I was with, and she didn't tell you, and you know, so she's also partly at fault for this. So I was like, that was my ticket out of it, right? But I had a local with me, so kind of blew my cover. So after this point, I mean, I wasn't gonna get away with this, so I pretty much stopped acting like I didn't speak Spanish and started just talking to them, you know, and they were convinced that they want to impound my bike. Now the guy that pulled me over originally, again, there were 4 cops. The guy, he took my ID and my tarjeta de circulación, which is like basically the only piece of paper that says that I can actually ride my bike. And he hopped in the truck with the other 2 cops and took off. And I was like, there's my, I mean, those are my papers, right? Like they just went, like where the hell did they go? You know? And we were left with the one female cop, right? So she was trying to explain, again, at this point, I was still acting a little stupid. I didn't kind of phase all the way out of it, but I was trying to convince her. I was like, oh no, please don't impound my bike, blah, blah, blah. And eventually I came up with the story. I was like, look, you know, I'm not from here, obviously, you know, if I live over in Chicolopan, and if you know, if I don't have my bike, I don't know how to get back to my house, and it's going to be dark out, and you know, it's not safe for me to be walking around at night taking public transportation and whatnot, because they pulled me over under the premise of, you know, trying to protect me with the helmet thing. So I'm like, this is way more dangerous for me to try to return in the middle of the night using public transportation than it is for me to not wear a helmet. And I was all like, ay, señora, ¿por qué no le doy unos 500 pesos para dejarme? ¿Sí? Como, you know, but that didn't work. She insisted, and I was really confused, right? I was like, why isn't this lady like trying to negotiate with me, right? I was really confused, and she was like, no, see, no, this doesn't work that way anymore. We can't do that anymore. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what do you mean you can't do that anymore? That's how this works, right? I wasn't born yesterday. So eventually, her buddy came back with my papers, my ID and my tarjeta de circulación. And they came back, and we basically said the same story to him, right? And he was willing to negotiate, right? So he told us that if we paid him 800 pesos, that he'd leave us alone. Now, we pulled a little sneaky on him a few minutes earlier. So when they left, the the female cop, when she was by herself, she turned around for a few minutes, and I slipped my date about half of my cash, right? Like 600 pesos worth that I had with me, so that she could hide it in her pants or pocket or bra or whatever, right? And she did that. So all I had with me left was about 750 pesos, right? So I told him, I was like, look, you know, I'd be willing to pay you 700 or 800, but all I got is 750. I can give you 700 right now, and you know, I need 50 to eat tonight. You know, that's the best I can do. And the guy was kind of disappointed, but he accepted. And we did the whole. Now the problem is with cops in the city, especially, is they have lots of technology. They have cameras on their vehicles watching them. So my date, she took the 700 pesos, you know, did the whole like handshake slide kind of thing where you like, oh, thank you, sir, you know, and they left us alone. So that's the first lesson about this, right? If you can, don't carry a lot of cash in your wallet, right? Especially not like a huge amount, because if they see you like fuddling through your wallet and they see, you know, 5,000-10,000 pesos in there, they're gonna charge you like an insane amount of money, right? So if you do need to carry a lot of cash with you, you know, stuff the majority of it in your backpack or in other places in your car. And this is more secure anyways, right? Because if you do get your wallet stolen or pickpocketed or something like that, you don't lose all your cash, right? So that's tip number one. Now, the whole faking thing, that works really well, which brings me to my second mini story, because this happened a few days later, right? Like I was saying, in my little town here, I don't like to wear my helmet when I'm just going to the market, because I don't like carrying it around the market. I'm already a huge dude, right? And then when I'm carrying a big helmet in my hand around the market, it just gets in the way, right? So I was going to the market, but I made the mistake, right? Because it's about 2 miles to the major street that kind of connects Texcoco, Iztapaluca, La Paz, and Chimalhuacán, right? There's a main avenue that connects all these, and I got too close to that avenue because there was a cop waiting like right by the entrance to that avenue. He pulled me over, but this time I was by myself, right? So I just sat there and I was like, you know, again, just acting confused. I don't speak Spanish. I don't know what's going on, blah, blah. And eventually, after about 15, 20 minutes of that, he just let me go, right? He just kind of figured out that he wasn't going to get any money from me because I was just too confused about the whole situation, and he just let me go. So if you do speak Spanish, think about that. And if you don't speak Spanish, well, then you don't have to worry about that at all, right? So yeah, faking, don't carry a lot of cash. Also, there's another thing. If you are on a motorcycle and you are in a really heavy traffic area, honestly, you can probably just run. Like, if you get used to the traffic, the unfortunate thing is in these last two situations, I was in a pretty tranquil area, I guess. Like, there wasn't a lot of traffic. But if there was like a ton of traffic, like at some of these stoplights where there's like literally 100 cars deep of traffic, I would just go, right? Because the thing is, these license plate numbers aren't necessarily connected to your name. Like my license plate's not connected to my name. They can't track you, and they don't really have contacts the way they do in the States. Like if you get into a car chase in the States, they'll just radio to another cop and they'll cut you off. It doesn't work that way, right? But if there's a ton of traffic, I'll just slip right through the traffic. They can't catch you in a car. There's no way. Even if you're a really amateur rider and you don't have a lot of experience, right? Just going at the stoplight slowly through the traffic, like they'll never catch up with you, right? Another safety tip with that being said is if they're trying to stop you in the middle of the country, in the middle of nowhere, do not stop until you get to a more public area, whether that be a gas station, an OXXO, which is like a convenience store, something like that. Because if you're by yourself, completely by yourself, you're more likely to get fucked over, right? But if there's witnesses around, they're more limited in how shady they can be. Right. I haven't run into this situation myself yet, but that's a tip that all the locals really tell me. So I hope you learned something from this quick video that I made. If you do get pulled over, hopefully you can learn something and save yourself some money, maybe not even pay anything at all if you do the whole act stupid thing. So yeah, but be careful out there. Definitely do wear a helmet. Don't be like me. if you're riding a bike. I just got in an accident, and honestly, I was wearing a helmet and a jacket, and I was fine. Just scraped up my hands and my arm a little bit. But it could have been worse if I wasn't wearing a helmet. So definitely do that. And yeah, be careful out there. Have a good day. Like, comment, subscribe for more. I have more plans for Mexico. Some pretty interesting stuff coming up. So stay tuned for that.